Hungry before the game.
Yeah.
Guy Fieri has a Flavor Town tailgate.
Okay.
I can smell that already.
I can't wait for the invite.
Including playoffs, Kansas City has played man coverage at the 5th highest rate in the NFL and has excelled while doing so. However, the 49ers have torn up man coverage all season, with Brock Purdy leading the league in yards per attempt and completion percentage against man coverage. For more on Purdy, here's Nick Wagner.
There has been at least some change for the 49ers since they last played in the Super Bowl, but nothing will look more different this time around than at quarterback, where Brock Purdy is making his first appearance on the game's biggest stage. On Thursday, Niners owner Jed York told the story of how, after an early 2022 training camp practice, Coach Kyle Shanahan told him that Purdy was already the best quarterback on the roster just a week into camp. What then felt shocking has, according to general manager John Lynch, proved prophetic, as Purdy has turned into what Lynch called a pretty special player for us. I asked Purdy on Friday when he became aware of Shanahan's nearly instant belief in him.
When I first got here, I was obviously just trying to learn the playbook and compete every day as hard as I could on the field. And then over time, honestly, I didn't really know ever. I was going through the preseason games. He wasn't really saying much. When the season sort of came around and I found out I made the team, I was like, oh, okay. I think he, respects the way I play and how I handle things, and that was really about it. And then, I got my opportunity against Miami, and then we sort of talked after that, and that's sort of when he started telling me, hey, since you've been here, you've been doing everything right.
From the moment Purdy took over as the starter last December, he's been hyper aware of his role in helping this team move past recent postseason disappointments. It's why he spent the past couple of weeks picking the brains of his veteran teammates and Hall of Fame quarterbacks like Kurt Warner and Steve Young. For Purdy, it's all about doing everything he can to help these Niners finally get across the finish line and win the franchise's 6th Lombardi Trophy.
Shannon, let me ask you this, though. I want to switch gears here. Did Brock Purdy put all the criticism to bed with yesterday's performance?
No. He's going to have to do it in the Super Bowl. Have to do it in the Super Bowl. So what good? So let me get this. If he gets to the Super Bowl and he plays like he did against the Ravens, what are you saying, Dio? If he gets to the Super Bowl and plays like he played against the Ravens, what are we going to say? No. Did he answer a lot of my questions? Yes, because I wanted to see him down. I wanted to see every throw matter, every possession matter. He answered that. He turned into the playmaker, even used his legs. Guys, now, we're not going to expect, so we expected him to throw a pass that lands off the defender's head and Ayuk catches it. That's a diagram play. We expected him to roll to his left, throw over a defensive lineman that jumps, and Juwan Jennings goes up with one hand, lays back. We expected that, right, Dio?
What do you want from this dude? What do you want from this guy?
I just asked you a simple question. Is that in the playbook where we throw it 40 yards down the field, hope it hits a defender's hand, and Brandon Ayuk catches it? Yes or no? That should have been a pick. Am I
Shannon,
right?
Yes. He's taking a shot there. Yes, that's a fortuitous bounce.
Should it have been picked? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, then. That's all I'm saying. So has he silenced the criticism for 2 weeks? Because the last 2 weeks, he's come back, made plays. But what happens if he doesn't finish it off? It's the same thing we said about Lamar. Lamar had a great season.
Let me get this right. The only way that you're finally going to give him the rightful credit that he has earned is he's got to go now knock off Patrick Mahomes. He's gone and beaten Green Bay when he was down and played poorly until he needed to play great. And then he goes and plays against the team that is absolutely destroying them at home and leads them on a comeback that I think they were 0-30 when entering the second half, down 14. He goes 127 yards in the fourth quarter. He's absolutely spectacular with his legs and his arm. Third down, making big-time throws that aren't just, hey, Kyle Shanahan designs the perfect play here, and this is easy. He makes contested throws to Ayuk. He makes contested throws to Jennings. He makes contested throws to Kittle. He takes off and uses his legs 4 different times. He's got 21-yard run, 15-yard run, 10-yard run, all in the second half.
49 yards rushing.
So the only way that we're going to give this young dude credit is he's got to go beat Mahomes?
Are you listening to what I said? I said, yes, he silenced some of the critics. But if he doesn't finish it off, what has he done? Okay, Lamar Jackson is going to be the MVP. Did he silence his critics? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, then. So what are you talking about?
Shannon, you just said If he doesn't finish this off, what has he done? He's gone from being the last pick of the draft and led a team to the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl in his first 2 years as a starter.
Dio, I'm saying if he plays, let's just say he gets to the Super Bowl and plays a game like he played against the Ravens, what are we going to say, Dio? Are you going to say he silenced all his critics? He proved everybody. So what are you going to say? He plays the game like he played against the Ravens, against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. What is DA going to come out here and say Monday?
I'll probably say he played poorly.
Thank
It's
you.
not good. Shannon, you all season long, you said when it's not perfect, what is he? That he's this system quarterback.
I gave him credit for that, D.O. I gave him credit. I said
But
he
you're,
showed
but
me.
you're,
I want to see.
But you're asterisking the credit.
No,
like you're saying,
I'm
well, now
saying,
he's got to go.
No,
he's got to
but
go
he
do it
has-
again.
But that's what. Oh, hold on. Isn't that what we ask of our quarterbacks? So now all of a sudden you win 2 games and now we good. You ain't got to do nothing else. I thought that's what we ask of our quarterbacks.
But Shannon, I'm not saying that obviously like you want him to go win the Super Bowl and whatnot. But if Brock Purdy goes into the Super Bowl and plays a average game and they lose to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, it is not going to diminish anything that he has done. He has absolutely cemented himself as to a top, realistically, like a top 7, top 8 player at that position at worst. Maybe he's not that elite talent that we place at those top 3 or 4 guys. But what else does he need to do?
Well,
it was, well, you're a system guy. And then, well, he starts to expand this system for Kyle Shanahan. And then you don't elevate the people around you. But just so happens that Ayuk has the best year of his career. And now it's, well, if you go down, I want to see what you do. He's gone down twice in back-to-back games. And he's been remarkable.
I gave him credit for that. Stephen A., what do you say, Stephen A.?
Dan Orlovsky. You can't be so protective of quarterbacks that you're changing narratives.
I'm not changing.
Nobody said that Brock Purdy can't play. Nobody said he's a scrub. Nobody says that he probably is a top 10 quarterback in the National Football League. Nobody has refuted those things. What we're talking about is when we talk about what he's lacking, what he potentially may lack, and how he may need a clean pocket more than others because he ain't 6'5", flinging the football over oncoming defensive linemen and what have you. When we talk about things like that, what we're saying is these are the kind of things that can derail you from ultimately capturing a Super Bowl championship. You look at the Detroit Lions yesterday. They were up 20-7. San Francisco was completely rattled. They go into the locker room 24-7. The San Francisco was completely rattled. They come out in the second half, though, and they're playing, and obviously you're Jared Goff and the rest of the crew. You couldn't do anything to stop the bleeding. I believe you should have ran the football more. That's just myself. When I look at Brock Purdy, you want me to tell you what I asked myself? That happens in Kansas City. You think he's coming back? He ain't coming back. He ain't coming back against that. Not because it's Patrick Mahomes. Not just because it's Patrick Mahomes. It's because you're not going to beat yourselves the way a young Lions squad that obviously, I mean, you're talking about this is the first situation they've been in, first NFC Championship game they've been in since 1957.
Sure.
Okay? You don't have anybody on this squad that's had these kind of experiences to bring to the table. I like Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy was great yesterday. What was it? 3 carries for 52 yards, 3 or 4 passing for 41 yards, right? On those scrambles, all equated to 6 first downs, okay? Yeah. 3 passes, 3. It was a really impressive performance on his part. He showed a lot. But there's nothing wrong with Shannon saying, okay, what you got in 2 weeks?